There was a specific meeting in the meeting, a specific time in the meeting where Gavin Watson told Cedric to do whatever's possible to ensure that we could win over Vincent Smith, or alternatively, to try and move him out of that position so that he couldn't be detrimental to Bosasa and the contract. When he was in the vault, I stayed in the boardroom with Mr. Cedric Frolick and Mr. Compella, and Gavin returned and he called him. He said, come here. And they were in the passageway, and there was, those years, double doors. And I could see through the door, and he had opened his jacket pocket and he put a security bag in the pocket. And, you know, it's obvious. I knew exactly what was in the security bag, and it was some money.
Who put the security bag in whose pocket?
Watson put it in Frolick's pocket.
Allegations that ANC Member of Parliament Cedric Frolick completely denies. Instead, Frolick explained his relationship with the Watsons, which dates back to the apartheid days when they were ANC activists.
Chairperson, I wish to state that I did not receive money from Bosasa, Mr. Gavin Watson or Valence Watson, let alone monthly payments, as alleged by Mr. Agrizzi in his supplementary affidavit. During 2014, before the general election, I received amounts totaling about 25,000 rand from Mr. Valence Watson as a contribution towards the ANC election funds. At the time, I served on the Finance and Fundraising Committee of the ANC in the region, and I'm still a member of that fundraising committee. And these monies were properly handled and handed over to the regional secretary of the ANC, and it was also confirmed by the regional treasurer.
Agrizzi previously testified that Frolick was on Bosasa's payroll to persuade senior politicians like Vincent Smith to behave favorably towards the company. Frolick yet again rubbished the claims.
I don't agree with that, Chairperson. If I must go back to after the meeting that took place, Chairperson, at Bosasa, is that we returned to Cape Town. I returned to Cape Town personally, and it was in Cape Town because we had duties to fulfill there. And it was during that period that I had the interaction with Mr. Smith. This thing of a meeting in Port Elizabeth at Mr. Valence Watson's house, I don't know where it fits in or where it comes in. And that's why I say that maybe since Mr. Agrizzi kept such meticulous record of the gym and furniture in the house and all of that, then surely he must know the date that this meeting took place in Port Elizabeth.
As Bosasa-related evidence features prominently at the Commission of Inquiry, it seems as if the walls are closing in on those who are implicated. On Thursday, Vincent Smith handed himself over to the police and appeared before the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court in Ekurhuleni. He faces charges of fraud and corruption and was granted bail of 30,000 rands. Natasha Piri, SABC News, Johannesburg.
And of course, later on at 7 p.m, we will be assessing this week's dramatic corruption arrests with Professor Tinigo Maluleke, including what you saw there from the State Capture Commission, getting somewhere in terms of whether or not people are finally being held to account for state capture. That's all coming up. For now, this Sports News with Fatsile.
A good Friday evening to you and yours, and welcome to the Sports Desk. My name is Vosiwe Ngcobo. Taking a look at your sports news tonight, Bafana coach Molefi Ntseki has named a new side for the next week's international friendlies against both Namibia and Zambia. Now, Ntseki has included 3 UNCAP players in his squad for the matches in Rustenburg in order to prepare his team for next month's 2 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The 23-member squad is a good mixture of youth as well as experience, with a number of players having represented South Africa at the Rio Olympic Games 4 years ago.
The 23-member Bafana squad is made up of 17 locally based players and 6 who ply their trade overseas. Among the overseas-based players are 2 unknown players, Portugal-based central defender Tibang Pete and Belgian-based striker Kat Abrahams. The 26-year-old Pete and 23-year-old Abrahams have been included along with 4 under-23 players. Ntseki, who is in the rebuilding phase for the 2022 AFCON tournament, as well as the World Cup, which will be staged in the same year, has also included 10 players who featured at the 2016 Rio Olympics.
We are really thankful to have this friendly coming so that we can also give other players an opportunity, and we can also do the proper profiling of such players at international level going into November fixtures. And even before I could announce the team, we have left out a number of players. Why? Because we are bringing in some new faces.
However, the spine of the team is made up of players who have lots of experience dating back to the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations. They include Captain Thulani Hlatshwayo, Belgian-based keeper Darren Kidd, Themba Zwane, and Andile Jali. But there are notable exclusions from the team, including veteran keeper Itumeleng Khune, midfielder Dean Femen, and defender Buhle Mkwanazi.
Let us just say it's a generation of players that will always provide the spine in the team. The players that we are referring to, I have spoken to them. I have given them a call to say, look, this is the plan. The reason why you are not in the team is because we also want to have a look at the younger generation that is coming in, but you are still part of the team going forward.
The 2 matches will be played under strict COVID-19 regulations. This follows FIFA's announcement earlier this week that international matches could now be played.
In terms of compulsory testing, every member of the team that will be coming into camp, because the camp is the same concept as a bubble, because now it will be a controlled environment. So every member that will be coming into camp should have a negative test result. And that test results, I should have all the results by Saturday to make sure that I've cleared everyone.
All the Bafana players, as well as the 2 visiting sides, will be subjected to compulsory COVID-19 tests, and they'll be monitored consistently whilst in the bio-bubble.
And when it comes to international, the overseas-based players, I've made an arrangement with their medical teams. So what is going to happen is that some will test today, some have tested yesterday. We are waiting for the result, because the government regulations are saying that the test at the airport, it must not be older than 72 hours.
Bafana will assemble on Sunday. Sfiso Ramara, SABC News, Johannesburg.
More people would have participated in